welcome back to the BentBox Comics YouTube channel. My name is Chris O'Hara. I will be your solo host for today. Wanted to kind of sit down and discuss my upcoming series, Refuge, which is coming to Kickstarter very, very, very soon. As of this recording, we're at 170 pre-launch followers. We were thinking about doing a goal of 200 and then just going live because technically the campaign's ready. We can go live any day now. I would like to get to that 200. I think it'd be fun. I haven't reached that before on a campaign, so that's kind of the goal. So if we're not at 200 yet, by the time this video comes out, please help us by going to the link below in the description. That'll take you to both our website, and then there's also going to be a link for the pre-launch page on Kickstarter for Refuge Chapter 1. So as I mentioned earlier, my name's Chris. I am the author of Refuge Chapter 1. The Refuge series, as we're working on it right now. The Refuge series is planning to be about 4 to 5 issues long. We'll get more into the details in a minute, but I give myself 4 to 5 issues as almost like a leeway of there's a handful of beats I want to hit, maybe some different situations or scenarios I want to put the characters through. Some could be cut, could not be cut. So just depending on how much I want to put into the story, the in-between parts at the beginning, middle, and end. I'm allowing myself kind of like a rough 4 to 5 issues, but it's going to be a short series, an all-ages action-adventure series that is, and I mean that truly, it's an all-ages book, but it's definitely not like a book that is only for children. There's definitely some mature themes, which we'll go over. There's some tragedy, some difficult situations. But the reason why I am writing it this way is we're kind of going back to an old school Don Bluth or old school Disney vibe of storytelling of those animated films. John's mentioned this before with Wingless, how Wingless has a bit of a dark ending to issue 1, but it's setting up this hero's tale because, as we all know, someone has to die in a hero's tale. That's just how it works. Anyway, the reason why I'm doing it this way, or why I'm wanting to create this all ages adventure book is, I have 2 children of my own. I would love to create a series that they could enjoy. Right now I've written Artificial, which my daughter likes. She's 11. My son kind of likes it because it's like action and it's, kind of like zombies and stuff like that. So they do like it, but it's not necessarily for them. So that was one reason why I wanted to write it. Another reason is I've been very interested in this subject and this world building that I've created behind this series for a little while now. If any of you are familiar with some of the other videos I've done, especially on other people's channels, I've mentioned how, I have a Google Doc filled with hundreds of like single page descriptors or single word descriptors or little short sentences for different story ideas. Refuge was one of the few in there that I had fleshed out fairly well. I kind of just knew what I wanted to do with it, and I was very excited about this arc, this storytelling that I was able to do within the story. So, and it was going to be a bit of a challenge, so that's another reason why I kind of took it on. So Refuge, the series, will follow a child soldier named Pavel. Now, some of you might ask, why'd you name him Pavel? I literally just Googled the most, like, uncommon, like, Russian or Soviet era names, and Pavel was one of them. It's kind of like Paul, but I liked it. I thought it was kind of cool. So, and it's supposedly less used. So we'll go with that. And it kind of fit the character's design. That's another really cool thing we'll talk about in a second. So it follows this child soldier as he escapes the cruelties of war. War has ravaged his homeland. His village been decimated. His family not doing too well. So there's a lot of mature themes that we are going to explore with this series. Displacement, some violence, but not necessarily over the top, obviously, because I am keeping it all ages. But I did want to tackle some of these themes and just see how I could make them digestible for children and for adults as well, obviously. In the first issue, we follow Pavel as he's being chased down by some enemy soldiers through a dense forest, dodging bullets, whizzing past his head, as he finally makes his way to a clearing, which technically in this instance would be a death sentence, especially with trained soldiers behind you. He's able to outrun them, and in the distance he sees a snow-covered mountain. He runs to the snow-covered mountain and sees a cave opening in which he uses to take refuge from the attackers. As he goes deeper and deeper into this cave system, he's greeted only by darkness, horrifying noises, echoes of enemy soldiers yelling in the distance. Finally, he's confronted by a terrifying and ominous presence. So that's your elevator pitch for the book for the most part. Is I don't want to give away too much, but it is definitely a world-opening chapter to get you introduced to this adventure that's about to unfold for Pavel. Now, as the writer, I'm truly enjoying crafting this story. Very close to my heart. I've put a lot of myself into it. That said, one of the things that makes this story unique is similarly to John Shell's Blossom. If you're not familiar with that, go check it out on our website. It's a fantastic, phenomenal book. But similarly, this is completely led by the art. So there are no speech bubbles and no narration. This was a bit of a challenge to write, as I've never done that before. A lot of times you can put some exposition into something. You can describe things in a single panel that would allow for less visual explanation needed. AKA you can kind of like bring down the size of a book and all of the storytelling within it by allowing people to be able to describe things just in a single page or a panel. But without that, you really have to focus on how the art tells the story and how the pacing goes for that as well. So it's been a bit of a challenge, but it's been a lot of fun to do. So, and I do think we're hitting a really good pacing and it's going well. All that said, I would like to obviously give tons of props to the artist. So as the author, I did some stuff, but with it being art-led and with such a huge emphasis on the storytelling through the illustration, I was able to team up with a very talented artist named Lucas Jensen. Lucas, go ahead and say hello.
E aí, galera, beleza?
Good job, Lucas. As you can tell, he's from Brazil. And if you know anything about myself, I am a huge fan of Brazilian artists. I've worked with a handful of them. They're so talented. They have such unique vision, such unique styles, and they have an insane grasp of just what looks good on a page. And so I'm very proud to have been able to, or I'm very happy to have been able to team up with Lucas and all the other ones that I have in the past. But Lucas is super on board. He's been a joy to work with. He's tackled some of the more challenging parts of creating a story like this with jumping headfirst into character design, world building, all of that stuff right away. Like, he wanted to get a good solid look at what Pavel looks like on the page, which is great. He gave me tons of choices. We solidified one that I think is just perfect. Same with the ancillary character, which you will get a hint of in some of the previews on the Kickstarter page. But we had a blast working on it together, and I can't wait to keep working on it. Another thing that sets it apart is we are looking to have this join our Comics for a Cause initiative here at BentBox Comics. If you're familiar with some of the stuff we've done in the past, we have things like I previously mentioned Blossom. We have another book by John Shell called Wingless. These two books have joined have kind of spearheaded our Comics for a Cause initiative. And what that is it's trying to give back to the community, to people in need through different charities with our books. For, let's say, Blossom, John was able to team up with a really great charity called the Smile Train Foundation, and that gives to children with cleft lip and palate all across the world. And he gave a huge chunk of, I think, basically all the profits of his original Kickstarter to this foundation. And then moving forward, our goal is to give 10 cents of every purchase of Blossom to the Smile Train Foundation. That way, we can continue to support this amazing charity moving forward. Additionally, John, we're also going to work with that on Wingless. Wingless also joins our Comics for a Cause initiative, which will be giving to a nonprofit. Actually, it's not a nonprofit yet. It's soon to be a nonprofit. I did a bunch of research on it, but it's called Tiny Superheroes. I'd love to give a big shout out to What the Book on TikTok. Feel free to go check her out. She's got a really cool book review channel, but she reviewed Wingless and mentioned a part in Wingless that had a connection to one of her favorite charities, which was the Tiny Superhero charity. We immediately weren't, full transparency, weren't planning that and weren't aware of it. But having it be brought to our attention, we immediately researched it, looked at it, and we like what they do. We think it would be a perfect pairing for Wingless. So we are extremely excited to work with Tiny Superheroes through Wingless. 10 cents of every purchase there will also go to that charity, as well as Blossom. That leaves Refuge. So John's picking up a lot of the slack when it comes to when it comes to charities. I would like to get into it a little bit. I have a lot to give, and so I created Refuge as a way to, because it has no narration and no speech bubbles, the barrier to entry is extremely low. And I'm happy that we went that route, because my goal with this is to add it to our Comics for a Cause initiative, to find a really great charity that gives to a refugee crisis around the world. Whether it's, particularly families with children that have been displaced by wars, any war. Just, I want to find a really good charity. I've been looking. I haven't found one that I'm extremely happy with yet, or that I think would make a perfect pairing. So once the Kickstarter launches, I'm sure there will be a link at the bottom for the one that we've chosen. Feel free to comment below if you know of any, and I'll definitely look them up. But that's going to be something that your support through Refuge will go towards helping children all around the world. So that's another thing that we're extremely excited about. That said, the goal for this specific Kickstarter is $4,000. I'm being very upfront with it and trying to get it out of the way, mainly because if you're familiar with any of our titles here at BentBox Comics, we try and have the completed book done before the Kickstarter even launches. We decided to do this to kind of give us a little bit of trust. We're trying to gain your trust by giving you your books on time. Maybe a month or two after the campaign launches, you have your book. So Refuge is going to be kind of it's going to be going back to what crowdfunding used to be. Crowdfunding used to be, I don't have enough money to complete this project. With your assistance, I can complete this project, and here are some goodies. That's what crowdfunding was meant to be. So with this, transparently, I've invested a decent amount of money towards previews and getting things set up with Lucas and variant covers, a handful of different things. But this $4,000 will help complete Chapter 1 and will help make this story come to life. The majority of that's obviously going to go to the artist, with a little bit saved for printing and shipping. But this truly is we need your help to make this book become a reality. Now, we have huge plans for this series. Like I said, it's going to be 4 to 5 issues long. Would love to have a nice, trade paperback at one point of just the complete series completed, and just, put a nice little bow on it. Plushies, all that stuff. Not this one, not that one. I don't want to give no spoilers. We have a bunch of stuff planned for this series. I'm very excited about it, and we're only going to be able to do it with your help. So please, if you can, go down to the link in the description below to sign up for the pre-launch. That'll get you notified as soon as we go live. There will be a early bird special that you will definitely want to take advantage of. So make sure you get signed up. Otherwise, you might miss it. It'll be only 24 hours. And then if you can't back it, totally understandable. Please like, share, subscribe, all those fun things to this video. And same with the Kickstarter, share it out. That will help. Every little bit helps. Word of mouth is huge. So whether we're not getting pushed by an algorithm or anything like that through Kickstarter, natural growth sometimes tends to be a bit of a challenge for some people. You can help with that by just sharing with your friends, with your family, people who have kids, who you think would enjoy this really cool book. So We could really use your help. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks so much for hanging out with me and chatting about Refuge. I can't wait for this thing to get kicked off. Like I said, we're ready to kick it off whenever. It's just get us to 200 followers. So that's on you guys. You have a mission. Once again, like, share, comment, subscribe, all the fun things. And I guess that's it. Yeah. Okay. We'll see you in the next video with next one we'll have more Jeff Morris. I hope you liked the last one. So we got more of them coming right up. All right. See you guys next week. 675. I've done this way too many times. But that's okay. Everything's fine. Content creation is easy. Technology is the best.